Good morning all, this is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 16th of March. So looking at the markets this morning, firstly I would just look at the sort of strength that we're seeing through these markets. If you're looking for strength, well, the US dollar seems to have it this morning. It's well and truly the strongest currency out there, followed only narrowly by the euro dollar, so the euro rather, so well, euro dollar. It's second strongest out there, the euro. Weakest at the moment is the pound, followed by the New Zealand dollar. So we're seeing really quite a reversal from what we were seeing yesterday. Other commodity currencies, the yen, the Canadian dollar, Australia dollar, a little bit more sitting on the fence, but weakish towards the weakish side of things. So that's where we are in terms of strength, with lots of dollar. The yields again pushing up, and it seems to be the biggest problem for these currencies at the moment. I'm a little surprised with the euro itself, its strength. There are concerns that the vaccine rollout is particularly slow, and they've obviously put a halt at the moment to the AstraZeneca version being given, so it's sort of really knocking back their vaccine programs even further, but there we are. So that may have a knock-on effect on the euro going forward, but it doesn't seem to be at the moment too much, as I said. Aside of that, news-wise today, we've got US retail sales this afternoon, so risk sentiment may come into play around that 12:30 area. Right, okay, so looking technically at these markets and starting looking at the euro dollar, it is down a fraction, the euro against the US dollar, but it's not sort of overly significant at the moment. However, sitting on this sort of consolidated pattern on a 4-hourly time frame, it does look like it's at some stage going to just topple from here. But holding its own at the moment, it really is. So I'm looking back here, as I say, on the 4-hourly it's easier to draw the trend line, but it could well roll over here. Yesterday it was a real nowhere day. It was just out there. If you come down the time frames and look at yesterday, and it was one of those days that it looks like it's purposely out there to get traders. They sort of look for the breaks, and they get short, and it turns round, pushes up, pulls back, they get shorter here again and put the stops above the highs here, and it pops back up, takes them out. Each time it looks like there's going to be a proper breakdown, off it goes back, takes those previous stops out. So a real difficult old day yesterday. I must admit I didn't touch anything so it was awkward. But this morning, well, it does look like, well, maybe let's come back to a proper time frame. There you go. Maybe we'll see the euro slide down there. Certainly got the potential, fundamentally and technically. The pound broken its trend line here. It was looking mildly bullish yesterday, in a sense, or continuing sort of more daily strength through here, but finally broken its 34 there, and this trend line that's sort of part of its regression channel, broken through that, and does look particularly soft. As I said, it's the softest out there. However, as we run into support not too far below at 38, around about 38.07, we could see a bit of a bounce. We found support around this area previously, around that 31-38 area. We'll see if we get a bounce here, break of that, which suggests further downside, but that may be its distance travelled. That's a weekly pivot there. Daily wise, it's already through daily S1, and I mean, you can see how far it's moved, and I just wonder whether some of these markets, or particularly the pound, may just get a bit of a grip on things. Dolly Yen, well, yen is I've lost data here, but it's been pushing up. It just continues softening against the dollar. Looking at the big sentiment from the commitment of traders report, and the yen still being seen as a soft move. The big traders still moving away from the yen, selling their long positions, and it's gradually being, as I say, they're being unwound. So more upside potential on a sentiment point of view from the big money, and well, yeah, that's where it's off to at the moment. There's no real let up in this. It's actually just keeps on breaking these sort of prior highs here. Um, Again, may just be a bit slow as we move in much more into the London session, European session. Uh, it does seem to slow down a bit at the moment. Aussie dollar, daily perspective, well, yesterday it did start selling off but regathered itself, but again it just looks like it's got the potential to roll over further, and at some point, there you go, it's already shot down this morning. Again though, maybe if it doesn't do it immediately, we may just get a bit of support off that daily S1 there, and it may just give us another one of these spiky bars in the end. The Aussie is being quite resilient overall, but with the US dollar strength really coming through, it's just hitting it. But any sort of let up in those yields, and it could be one of the better ones for the bounce. But for now, wouldn't want to be overly shorting it too much anyway. Canadian dollar, this has been overperforming effectively in a sense, but catching a bit of a bounce at the moment. The the US dollar just showing its strength here, but the Canadian dollar, I think if we find some resistance in here, we could see that roll back at some stage. But just looking in terms of points of resistance, maybe back into yesterday's highs there, it may just roll back over. But side of that, an opportunity may come off that weekly pivot, but it's just got to show itself really, but that would be quite nice. Okay, looking elsewhere, S&Ps. So the S&Ps has just come to a daily point of view yet again, pushing through yesterday and this morning, making new highs. So seeing it continue, it doesn't matter what the yields are doing as far as the S&Ps are concerned. And I was just looking at the rest of the markets, and in the European markets, the DAX was up about 0.25%, the FTSE was up nearly 0.5%, and the CAC up 0.2%. So all running to the upside at the moment, regardless of the currencies. And there we are. S&P still, maybe they'll roll back a little bit before. I mean, it does look a bit soft there, but a divergence run across the highs there. Maybe they'll run back, but probably just giving people opportunities. One thing I am noticing, actually, I'm sort of just looking at this. There is, I haven't got a drawing tool on here at the moment, but there is this sort of, there's a bit of a pattern here that's sort of pushed up there, a bit of a butterfly pattern as they would refer to, and it's just may just see a bit more of a correction coming from that at some stage. But I can see the pattern. I don't necessarily think it's a great time to be shorting it, just because I can see a bit of a pattern there, which may be developing, but it is a sign of a bit of softness, so I wouldn't be surprised if we technically it rolls at some point, but not quite yet necessarily. It's still got some legs to possibly go on to the upside, but it just showing a bit of weakness there, or potential weakness. Gold's holding its own a little bit this week, a bit more. It's trying its best yesterday. Trying to push through, following through from Friday, but it's slow. It's a hard old trudge back up there. Really not a great one in the short term, but it may give opportunities. It's it's back into its daily pivot here. May give some opportunities on the buy side, but I just find it at the moment very sticky, very spiky at times, and yeah, if you can catch it at the right time, great, but otherwise you spend most of the time looking to catch it at the right time, and a lot of people just lose their money on it. Oil this morning, let's just have a look now. Yeah, it's just consolidating. It sort of started coming back off yesterday, and it's just consolidating here. It's not time for me to sell yet, but I think it is certainly running out of steam in terms of the bigger picture here. It just seems to be may have got as far as it's going to get. It's just looking at shorter time frames here for signs of weakness. It's trying to break that 64.12 area, will give us a lower high on the bigger time frames here, and that will there we go, that will be that little lower high there. At the moment it's in betweenish, a bit of an in between, and I'll leave that alone. Personally, I'd like to be on the short side of it, but I want it to be breaking these prior lows here to give a more defined lower high. Okay, that's pretty much all Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin yesterday, when I was looking, was a bit of a retrace, if I seem to remember. And there we go. Let's just get onto the dailies there. And you see it pushed up through, making yet another high over the 60,000 level, but just correcting itself. Now it's corrected itself, had a bit more of a bounce from there. It's just come down the 4 hours there, but didn't manage to hold on to its initial bounce yesterday, and it's now put this lower high in. So a bit of softening appearing there in the shorter time frames. See this lower high that's been put in. Support may be there, but not looking at this as an intraday type trade, but it's, as I say, it's just showing a bit of weakness there for now. Right, that's it for me. I wish you a great day. Any questions, fire them away quickly and I'll get there. Okay, I think that's about it, but a couple of cross pairs keep getting asked about pound yen, etc. It's just come back out on that. So the pound yen, a lot of retail sentiment shorting the pound yen at the moment. Whenever I see such high levels, I do get sort of a bit wary of the potential of its the option of it to continue that way. I'm just a bit wary when it, as I say, it just. But it is this time, maybe now. I'm looking at the shorter time frames here, and it is showing some signs of cracking. This move we've seen here with a lower high, so maybe that it's getting close, but it's had such a move down today already. Maybe need to wait for a retrace to sell into if you're looking at that, but it seems to be the retailer traders' favourite at the moment on the short side. I'm just wary that well, it has been for a while, and you look at, they've been fighting all of this. Sometimes it's worth just keep waiting until it's. In fact, this is the first time it's shown more significant on those upper time frames. There, it's the first time it's shown something a bit more significant, and it may actually roll now. I'm actually just looking at the sentiment this morning, and I just clicked on the chart, and it's a bit more mixed today. It was really pushing strong buy yesterday. That's a contrarian view, strong buy, but at the moment, well, looking a bit more mixed and rolling over. So there we are. I wish you a great one. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.